Udah, okay.
So welcome back, everyone. We'll commence the second session of English presentation today uh, by hearing to Nayaras. So Nayara will be presenting his proposal entitled Intergen Career Hub, a strategy to eliminate age discrimination perceptions in response to ageism in Indonesia's labor market through a value sharing approach. So the rule is still the same. You will have 15 minutes, and afterward we will have 45 minutes of discussion. So are you ready? So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Comedy and Honorable Judge, for the opportunity. Before we move on deeper to our discussion, I would like to invite you to take a moment and reflect on this question. Have you ever consciously or unconsciously treated or spoken to someone differently based on their age group? For example, when we talk to someone way older than us, we tend to use a more well-articulated and a more subtle voice. But when we talk to someone younger than us, we unconsciously tend to use a more authoritative and somewhat charismatic tone. The question is such behavior considered as a normal practice or a normal behavior, or is it in fact a form of an age-biased behavior? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, and may goodness be with us all. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Nayara Shaliha, as one of the finalists of the Most Outstanding Student in FHUI 2025. Today I will be presenting and raise a discussion on the impact of the age discrimination or ageism in Indonesia's labor market. First, let's take a look to this number. There is more than 30% of young workforce in Indonesia still categorized as the open unemployment category, where 20.3% of them is still classified as the NEET group, or the Not in Education, Employment, nor Training. And over 10% of the middle-aged senior workforce in Indonesia still categorized as the open unemployment category. Ironically, this range of age still falls under the category of Indonesia's productive workforce. This indicates that Indonesia's labor market conditions are very much far from resolved. What must be emphasized here is that the root cause of this persistently high unemployment rate is not solely a matter of their skills, education, nor their competencies, but age discrimination issue also plays a vital role to this problem. One example of this can be seen on the Constitutional Court decision in 2024, which arose from people's concerns in the practice of including age limitations or age restrictions in job postings. In this case, an employee ought to challenge the Article 35 of the Manpower Law, which grants business actors the freedom to set their own recruitment requirements. He argues that the provision is far too broad and tends to create a room for discrimination. What must be emphasized here is that the age restrictions that the business actors use for their requirements are usually not comes with relevant justification. Well, they only use the Article of 35 as a shield for them to do this kind of action. However, the petition was rejected by the Constitutional Court on the grounds that the age limits do not count as a discriminatory act. Yet, the Article 4 of the Ministerial Regulation on Employment clearly states that the worker placement must oblige 4 key principles. That is 1, transparency, freedom, objectivity, fairness, and non-discrimination. Another example can be seen in an age-based workforce training programs. Take this case as an example. One of the government body led an ICT training programs that limits participation to the maximum age of 29. But the thing is, training and workforce development program is supposed to be built to enhance individual skills in specific fields to help them to secure or find a job. In this case, age restrictions only limits their opportunity to even find one job. And ironically, this restriction is enforced by a government institution, which indicates that the government in Indonesia still see the age limitation as a normal and a common practice thing to do. From those two cases, we might ask ourselves, why is ageism is so hard to eliminate, especially in Indonesian culture? Because essentially, human beings have a primal instinct called affinity bias, which is the tendency for a human to like people with the same background, which in this case is their age. And because of that, stereotypes about certain age group begins to spread because of the lack of communication between generations, and both generations couldn't clarify those stigmas, because of their a subtle segregation that has been created from this theory. So my solution is focused more on the approach to change the stigma. And how do we change the stigma? It must start with changing the perception by inserting a new perception to the society. With that, I would like to introduce you to my new solution, that is Intergen Career Hub, a platform designed to serve as an open space for one generation and another generation to create a connection. And through this connection, both generations will have the opportunity to exchange their perspectives, their values, and also their cultural insights. This will help eliminate negative stereotypes that has been going around in society for far too long. How does it work? So this platform will act as an open discussion space, pairing users from different generational background based on their shared interest. And the platform itself will utilize the A-star algorithm or matchmaking algorithm. So this algorithm is not a new concept. It is well adapted from the algorithm commonly used in dating apps, which aims to connect users with matched backgrounds or interests. However, what distinguishes this technology with the other algorithm is the will prioritize the meeting of users from different age groups. And this approach is needed to uphold the essence of the application or of the platform itself to promote the connection or the interaction between age groups. The usage mechanism of this platform is pretty simple. It will be divided into 3 steps. First, registration and profiling, where users will be guided to complete their profiles by filling in their name, their interests, skill set, as well as their age. And to find their discussion partner, or in this case it's called as a work buddy, users can search for specific topics or skills they want to enhance or they want to discuss with each other through the search feature. And the algorithm will automatically match them with someone from a different age group but still shared the same interest. And the last one is as an incentive of overt activeness page to create as an encouragement for the participation within the users. And it will be divided into 3 categories, that is beginner workmate, cross-gen workmate, and also master workmate. To ensure the platform runs effectively, there will be 3 stakeholders involved. The first one is government, which is going to be acting as the socialization partner, and it will be divided into two categories. That is, the Ministry of Manpower will act as the socialization partner in the national scale, and the regional manpower or Disnaker will act as a socialization partner in a regional scale. The next stakeholders is educational institutions, training, and professional organization as our medium for promotion and also socialization. Why? Because we believe that the members of these institutions are still in their productive age and are still in their productive age and are still classified as workforce in Indonesia. And therefore, we believe, well, by choosing these institutions as our medium, we could effectively promote the platforms and as well help us to achieve our goal. And therefore I'm going to use this SMART method, which will be divided into 5 categories. That is, 1, specific. The goal of this platform is specifically to to increase the intergenerational interaction between the age of 17 to 45. But of course, it doesn't mean that we're going to exclude the other age groups to also join in this platform. And measurable, because we are going to measure the impact of this platform periodically through surveys to see whether the activeness of a user align with their change of perspectives on ageism. And realistic, because the goal of changing of the national perspective on age discrimination clearly sounds impossible, but by implementing this platform or this solution, it will directly influence individuals' perspective by allowing them to see it themselves, that the other generations have their own values and perspective that they must respect. And time-bound, which this platform will be developed into from three phases. So the first phases is in the first and second year, which will only focus on the socialization within the Java region to see whether there is a certain approach that is much more effectively than others. So that for the second phase, which is the third to fourth year, we could expand our markets beyond Java with the approach that has been effectively implemented in the first phase. And on the fifth year, the user ratio is to be expected has already diverse, and the platform will be able to operate effectively. Lastly, allow me to conclude this presentation by quoting my advisor, Bang Jarod. Essentially, all humans possess the same potential, so there is no reason to differentiate between individuals solely based on their age. Thank you.
Yeah, a nice way to close your presentation with a quote from Bang Jarod. Now we will hear commentaries from the panelists. So who will speak first from panelists? Who want to volunteers? Butel? Okay.
Hi Nayara, good opening. It makes me want to hear more about your presentation. But now, probably it's because I'm old, so I'm a bit scared. But how come you come to that the conclusion that the problem is because lack of communication between generations? Can you explain about that?
Yes, so the stigma that has been going around in the society is basically because of the other generations couldn't clarify themselves or explain themselves on why do they do the so-called stigma. The so-called stigma. Because it is because of they couldn't really communicate directly to the other generations because of the primal instinct that has been that human essentially has, which is the affinity bias one. So the segregation is basically the segregation basically so the segregation basically segregate them to know what the other to know what the other generation might experience and make those kind of act, if that makes sense.
So the idea is to break the bias, the affinity bias itself from each of generation. But in your presentation and also in your paper that you cite affinity bias, and you mentioned who is the scholars that say affinity bias?
Greenwald. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just want to highlight because you're not cited from why you're not cited from the
Yeah.
primary source from the.
Yeah, apologies for my mistake in my paper, but the theory itself is actually exists from the 20 Greenwald, but I'm so sorry if I don't mention it in my paper.
Okay, yeah, because probably it will be much safer if we cite it from the original source, because if we cite it from the like second source here, they already cited based on their interpretation rather than the the original source. Now, in your presentation, you mentioned about the government role. Is that true?
Yes.
So, what is the government role in?
So the government will act as a socialization partner, which will be divided into two. The first one is Kemnaker, or the Ministry of Manpower, and the second one is the regional office of Kemnaker, which is the Disnaker, that will act as socialization partner in the regional scale. So the national scale, they will first add the credibility of our platform to lure not only the young generations but also the older generations, because obviously they need to if they want to join join a certain program, they need to know exactly if that program is really credible. So by using Kemnaker as our partner could boost up the credibility of our platform, and for the Disnaker or the regional offices, it would act as the socialization partner in the regional scale to expand the promotions and the socializations, not only for our platform but also for the idea of anti-ageism itself.
I see. So the government have a big role
Yes.
to break this ageism. But how you ensure the government itself, because they are one of the because the government itself who actually perpetuate about this kind of segregation.
Well, basically, our platform is trying to promote the inclusivity in the workforce, which is aligned with the Article 5 of Manpower Law, which is aligned with the Article 5 of Manpower Law that promotes the inclusivity of the workforce for Indonesian people. So maybe that is and that is also why we think government would want to be partnered up with us. And the other reason is because our platform is also aimed to reach and two SDGs goal, that is SDG 8 and SDG 10, which is relevant to the inclusivity on the Article 5 of the Manpower Law. So it aligns with the government goals, basically.
So you believe that government is always follow the regulation, follow the rule that they're
Definitely not, because of the constitutional court. It speaks the truth itself. Like they do not comply with their own regulations on the Article 4 of the worker principles. But knowing that the government is a really big institutions, and they of course have this certain goal to reach an SDGs by the time it reached I suppose it was 2030. I'm so sorry, but by the time we reach 2030, this platform could also help them to reach those goals and maybe present themselves better to the other countries.
You mentioned one last question. You mentioned the age is between 17 to 45.
Yes.
Why you limited only 45, not above that?
Okay. So those age group is actually our target market, but it doesn't mean that we excluded the other age group to join to our platform or use our platform, or use or have a benefit from our platform. But we believe that by having this target markets, it is going to be much easier for us to promote this platform to certain institutions rather than doing a promotion or socialization in a very wide range. But then again, why we choose the 17 to 45 range of age is because we believe that they are still in the age of most of them are still in the age of productive and still in the class and still falls under the classification of workforce in by the Indonesian law. So we believe that they are the most impacted age groups among the other groups because they are still in the range of workforce in Indonesia, and especially that because of they are still in a productive age. So senior people are usually have a challenge or have a problem with their retirement, but our main focus is more on the workforce on the workforce. But again, the impact of our platform is not only going to be felt by the people that are falls under the category of workforce in Indonesia, but also the other age groups, because our main concern, our main goal is to eliminate the segregations between age groups, which will eventually not only affect the people who are in the 17 to 45 age range of age, but also for them. But also for them that are not included in our target market, because what we aim to do is to change the perception of the whole nation, not only for on them.
Okay. Good afternoon, Nayara. Thank you for the presentations. It's really impressive. My question is, do you have an example where this app or this platform-based work in addressing ageism in labor's market, and what lesson did you learn from that experience?
Okay, so for the application or platform itself, I do not have an exact example because there is, from my research, I do not see there is a certain app that has a resemblance with the platform that I have proposed. But the idea of this platform was adapted from cultural exchange and also value sharing approach that has been used in a lot of exchange programs. Like, for example, there are a lot of interfaith exchange programs that is trying to eliminate the segregations between beliefs, between I'm sorry, and also it could also eliminate the segregations. Perhaps between the cultural differences that is in Indonesia. I believe I have also input in my paper. I talked about the ASEAN Interfaith Exchange and also the Sabang Merauke. So that is one of the examples. We only adapt the idea of it to our platform, but the platform itself, it hasn't ever. I never seen that there is a certain application that is similar to us.
Yeah, but Sabang Merauke is not a technology-based activity, right?
No, it's not a technology-based, but it's interaction-based activity. So basically, in those exchange programs, they could exchange their perspectives to each other, and later on could create an inclusivity in their environment of studying. And not only that, so the exchange program that I've mentioned earlier has been used in a lot of programs and is proven effective a lot of times. Like ISMA, for example, and then the other ASEAN exchange programs like that.
Next question, and if these programs or apps or technology or platforms already exist, and how are you going to measure the outcome or impact?
Okay, so the impact of this platform will be measured periodically through surveys to see whether the activeness of the users of this platform is aligned with their change of their perspectives and ageism. So we will we will have a periodic surveys. We will hold a periodic surveys. Through these platforms.
Okay, so the goal is just to change the perception.
The perception, yes.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. Thank you.
Good day, Naraya. I would like to just quickly follow up to Mbak Thea's question. Why 45?
Yes.
So you're doing ageism then?
Oh no, it's just a target market. So we, like I've mentioned earlier, it is not. It doesn't mean that I excluded the other generation to join this platform. Only because we need a certain target for our market for us to socialize this platform for them, and some sort. And I believe that by doing so. It could create an even more better strategy to socialize it to the society. Moreover, if we see it on the scale on the unemployment rate that I have presented earlier. Most of the age group that has been affected by ageism falls under the group of 17 to 45. And when, for example, people in their 40s, if they got laid off, they couldn't find a job anymore because of the age limitations, the age restrictions that most of job postings in Indonesia has. Maybe that.
So you're saying that when joining this app, right?
Yes.
It's your app. So everyone can join even though above 45?
Yes.
Okay.
We were not going to exclude anyone.
Okay. Then if you're saying clearly 45, so I would expect that you have something more reasonable arguments to say that why it should be 45. Otherwise, you just say above 17, right? Because when you try to, for example, join your app, there should be the dates of your birthday, right? Otherwise, you would include those who are under 17. Am I right?
Yes.
So.
But.
Yes.
Yeah. But essentially, like I said, because we're not going to exclude the people that are outside of the range of age that I've mentioned earlier.
In your app,
yes.
Will you determine that what age that should be in your app?
Oh no.
No.
No. Only
Even my 10-year-old son
no.
can join.
The minimum age is 17, like I said, but we are not going to exclude someone who is still in the workforce, who is still falls in the workforce category to join this.
What do you mean by that workforce category?
Angkatan kerja.
Yes. In what age?
17 to 60.
To
50, sorry.
To 50?
Yes.
So that is a workforce category?
Yes.
On what basis?
From my research, sorry, and from the regulations of Indonesia, but I.
Yes, that's right. I mean, again, the workforce age until the retirement age, right? And
Yes.
it's all different.
Yeah.
So it's better for you to come up with one reasonable argument that what is a workforce, and what kind of, even better if you have a legal basis for that. So it is stronger arguments that you can make for this kind of category, because speaking of age, it's already sensitive, right? And then you make another exclusion in your presentation, right? So my question would be, yes, for those who are difficult in finding jobs, if they are already above 40s, yeah. From the perspective of the employer, yeah, would it be something acceptable? And if you are an employer, would you rather employ someone who is under 40 or above 40? Give me your answer.
It depends on the job that I'm recruiting. If there is a relevancy of people, if there is a relevancy on the age
That's correct.
restrictions.
It depends on the job, right?
Yeah.
So is your app will provide, I don't know, information about the category of job, or are you just providing the forum to discuss?
It's just for discussion. We are not trying to we are not trying to change the regulations in Indonesia, only to change the perception of the society.
So
that the
again, I will
regulations-
follow up on your app just for the discussion. So what does discussion lead to?
to change their perspective, to exchange their perspective and values. That's all.
Yeah, but at the end, you need jobs.
Yes, but
So what's the point of having this app rather than just to talks?
okay. Thank you so much for the question. So basically, what we aim to do is to change the perception or because if we only focuses on the regulation itself,
Who is the society?
Indonesian society, Indonesian.
Who is
people.
more important, the society, which means the employer, the government, or we are the workforce?
So our goal is not only for so our platform is not only for those who needs job, but also the people who are in the business sectors or the government. Anyone could join this platform. It doesn't limit that someone status to join this platform. So basically, it's just an open discussion, an open space for people to discuss about the things that they are interested in. So of course, I understand that it might sound a bit confusing on how this platform could directly creates a job opportunity, right? But basically, our main objective is not to create a job opportunity, but more than to change the perspective of people in Indonesia, especially because we believe that even if we change the regulations in Indonesia, we do not think I do not think it is going to be effective. Why? Because even in the governmental level, there are still people who think that who thinks that age restrictions or age limitations still seem as a normal thing to do, as a common thing to do, not only in the governmental level but also the business actors. So as long as this perception is not eliminated, even if there is a certain regulations that regulate or prohibit someone to do that, to restrict some age discriminations, later on it will create a culture shock within the society. So what I aim to do is more on the a subtle change from the bottom of the problems, which is the root causes of this ageism, which is the perception of the people of the society, to later on then later on the regulation itself could change with the changing of the perspective in the society.
Yes, but I'm not quite convinced enough that people would join your platform.
Mhm.
I mean, you have to showcase that
Yes.
your platform would be beneficial.
Yes.
So the benefits that you just shown to us is that your goal to see there's a change of perspectives. But from the person who is going to join the platform, what is my benefit? Let's say, for example, I'm in the 40s.
Okay.
I'm in a very late age of my career here, right? So if I got let off from my workplace, yeah, and then what is the benefit for me to join that platform?
Okay, so basically, this platform is only for the discussion, an open space discussion for people. But of course, the benefits of it for the job market of Indonesia, it's not going to be direct. What we aim to do here is to change the perception of the people in Indonesia, and how do I think that people are going to want to join this platform is because of the space that we provide, the open space that we provide. Like for example, for the people, for the young workforce in Indonesia, they could, if they want to learn something that. If they want to learn something about the job market, they could, for example, like law job market, they could ask them. They could ask them to someone who is inside the job. But if there is if, like you say, there is someone who is in their late 40s and have, for example, they have a position in a decision-making position, to know exactly what what their market wants, which in this case, for example, they have a market in for people in their young age. They could discuss it directly to them from this platform. Although I do agree that it might going to be challenged. It might going to be a bit of a challenge for us to lure them to join our platform. But by doing the promotions and the mediums, but the socializations on ageism, like to promote that every generations have their own values and benefits, it could later on create a certain perspective that they also need another generations to for example expand their market if they were the
Because in my acceptance of your opening statement, it seems that it is something that we need to change. Rather, in fact, I would call it as our culture, rather than something that you have to change. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof.
Okay, thank you so much, Nayara. I think this is very relevant for us, the law students that will graduate for 1 or 2 years to come. We need job. We need to open up opportunities to law firms, companies, government, etc. Since you raised the case of employment law in Indonesia, in Indonesia, I'm curious whether or not do you take the labor law subjects in this semester?
Yes, I do.
What are the subjects?
PPTK.
P2TK.
Yes.
P2TK. Okay, so in the opening the opening class of P2TK, we learned something about issues towards employment in Indonesia, and one of the issues is the right man on the right place.
Yes, employment placement.
Yeah, and it could be translated to job mismatch.
Yes.
I want you to think about this ageism relating to job mismatch issue. Do you think that, for example, you go to the LinkedIn or Glints or something like that, and it says senior associate, minimum experience of 5 years, 5 working years experience. Does that sound fair to you?
For me personally, because it is relevant to the job description, I don't think it is called as an ageism, because ageism are usually not comes with relevant justifications. For example, it actually usually happens in the entry level job market. Like if you want to become this specific position, you could only apply if you are in the age, let's say, if you haven't reached the age of 25, like that, but without any relevant justification. That is ageism.
Okay, but the thing is, you don't only issue about the entry level job, but also about the next level job, because this said that people with older age could also have this ageism. My question, not okay, just get into my opinion. I think people with the requirement of certain period of working experience is fair if we take a look at specific position. For example, in the law firm, yeah, we could accept that 2 years experience is for the junior associate, but it's different for the senior associate. My question is, how is your perspective on the requirement of minimum age of working experience would rather, would rather link to the issue of age?
Okay, thank you so much for the question, Aksara. So basically, a minimum relevant experience is not count as an ageism because it's because they have relevant justifications on that. For example, from the case that you have explained earlier, the job on the law to become a lawyer, it is going to be very much relevant if they need someone who has a certain experience, a certain year, and a certain period in their experiences. But again, an ageism is when someone is determine a certain requirements for age limitations without giving any relevant justifications on that. But also answering to your question to you, the mismatch employment, mismatch employment. I do believe it might going to be related to the ageism issues because, for example, if someone has been laid off from their previous job, let's say he is in their 30s, but when he's trying to find another job that is related to his previous job, it is going to be very much difficult because there is a certain age limitations on that job requirements. So because of that, he could be forced to change his lane of career to something that is not very much relevant to his previous studies, and that would create a mismatched employment afterwards.
Yeah, I get the point, but actually I'm focusing on the relevance between the criteria of minimum working experience with the age of one person will align with the working experience criteria. For example, we are now in 20 or 2021, and we're gonna graduate in the age of 22 or 23. For example, for the position of senior associate, it requires 5 years of experience. So that would be minimum age, based on our graduation, it would be 28 or 27. If the companies or the firm just requires the 5 years of experience, there would be no problem. It's fair. But when it comes to specific age number, that would be issue. I mean, let's reconsider about the difference. What's the difference between the minimum working experience criteria and the age criteria? But let's just proceed to your solution towards the issue. I believe that this issue is real. You create the platform to people that they can exchange information. But I think the bottom line here is for the company to be able to, to erase the age criteria, and for the government to change the regulation. How will the government and the companies involved in your proposed app?
Okay, so to answer the last question first, the the company and also the government will act as the stakeholders, one of the stakeholders of this platform. So the government will act as the socialization partner on a national scale from the Kemnaker, and also on a regional scale from the Disnaker. But for the business actors, they will they will not necessarily going to be the stakeholders on it unless they are a part of certain of certain groups in the stakeholders that I've mentioned earlier. If so, then they are going to be the medium of the promotions, also socialization for the anti-ageism behavior in Indonesia. To answer the next question and how this could affect the business actor is because essentially each generation holds their own perspectives and values, and if one company only have a monoton or already homogeneous generations in their company, they couldn't have those perspectives meet, and later on will impact it to the and later on will impact it to the production activities of the companies.
Okay, in your slide towards the proposed app, you mentioned the similarity between the Intergen career hub with a dating app. The difference between Intergen career hub and the dating apps is that dating apps you look for for a partner, but Intergen career hub you look for a job. So what would be the very ideal interaction inside the Intergen career hub that could happen? For example, is the very ideal interactions is between the job provider and the job seeker. Yeah.
Okay, to allow me to clarify, so the difference, the goal of this platform is not to match a user with a job provider, but rather on to match them with a discussion partner who shared relevant issues. So the ideal interaction is not to find a job, but rather on to exchange their perspectives on certain study fields. For example, like if they wanted to they wanted to learn about law, they could change their perspectives about law. If they wanted to learn about technology, they could change their perspectives, technology, like that. Thank you. But yes, I do agree that it might going to create some certain about the similarity with the dating apps. But as essentially, what we are adopting from the dating apps, only the algorithm of A star to match certain users who share the same interest or background to share about their perspectives to each other.
Let me get it straight. I don't think that any of the exchange for information for exchangeable law of, field of study in line with this ageism issue. It's another complex issue. It's about the exchanging information about the, for example, you're non-legal. You talk to a legal worker. It doesn't relevant with the ageism issue. But I maybe for the last question, can you explain clearer one? What would the contribution of the company as the job provider to expand their criteria of worker candidate through your proposed app?
Okay, so let me clarify it first about how our platform could change the culture of the labor market of Indonesia. So in today's age, the labor market in Indonesia are usually still having the perception of a certain only a certain age has certain benefits or has certain values, which the other generation doesn't, and that is why it created a certain age restriction in their requirements, and therefore our platform is aims to change those perceptions so that it's changed those perceptions so that the job market cultures or even the work even the job cultures in Indonesia could gradually change, and of course it is not going to have a direct impact on it, but rather on by having them change their perception, it could eventually create a better environment of the job market in Indonesia. So the impact is pretty much not a direct impact.
So, it still allows several comments or general inputs to Nayara. If there is still commentaries and inputs you may give to her. No more comments? Okay. So that marks the end of your presentation. Thank you very much, Nayara. So we wish you the best of luck for your Mapres. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You may leave the room. Thank you. And now the last but not least, last contestant is Felicia. Yeah, Mbak Ani. Okay. Felicia Nakita Christie. Hi, Felicia.
Good afternoon, judges.
Yes. So we'll wait first, just to make sure everything is ready, and then we start, okay? Oh, kabur aja dulu. Okay. So, good afternoon, Felicia. Glad to see you here again. So just to remind you that you still have 15 minutes, just like we did last week. And then after that, it will be followed up by discussion from all the panelists, 45 minutes. And if you are ready, I will give the floor to you. You may start your presentation now.
Lately, our media has been busy discussing this trend. This is a form of criticism by public due to difficulty domestic situation. However, there are some groups who have been experienced these difficulties first. Abandoned children. But how can they be relevant to this trend while they face an uncertain life way go before, and especially with their future, their uncertainty in the future when they have to leave the social welfare institutions. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, and good afternoon. All distinguished judges, I'm truly honored and grateful for today's opportunity to present my innovative notion with the guidance from Professor Satya Arinanto and Mbak Ivonavi in addressing the social welfare issue affecting the children of our nation. Through the solution, childhood, empowerment of abandoned children in Jakarta social welfare institutions through digitalization of social enterprise. This idea stems from a real and evident issue before our eyes. Abandoned children or abandoned adolescents who are part of the group of children under 18 years old is the part of the issues. However, this is not about the children themselves, but it's about the right, the guarantee of social welfare as their rightful entitlement. Our existing laws have been established that the responsibility to make sure to give the well-being of abandoned children lies upon the state. The term abandoned itself has various meanings, comes from children who don't know their biological mother or their family origins, or maybe children who become orphan, or perhaps children whose fundamental rights cannot be fulfilled due to the inability of their parents or families. According to the available data, the last reason is the most significant factor behind the presence of these children in the social welfare institution nowadays. The highest number of abandoned children is found in Jakarta, with an annual increase of over 50%. This reality certainly contradicts to the vision of what we see as the golden era of Indonesia in 2045. The projected extraordinary economic growth will remain merely just a dream if the issues of unemployment and the issues of labor absorption continue to burden the current and future workforce over the next decade. In various discussions, it's widely understood that these children belong to a vulnerable group. They are susceptible to get discrimination from their social environment, and they are at risk of losing hope to themselves due to the lack of self-confidence. The fact that many of them come from families that suffering from poverty cannot be simply addressed due by the care from social welfare institutions. After all, the shelters itself should be the last resort, and their support is not meant to be permanent. Thus, it's within themselves that they must hold on to hope for themselves, hope for economic independence for themselves, hope to reduce the risk of being trapped in structural poverty. By examining what other countries have done, we can clearly conclude that digitalization is reshaping the nature of work globally. As a result, the current challenge is not only about education, but also about preparedness and competitiveness in the digital era. Recognizing this, government from Kenya through Ajira Digital has incorporated digital skills training and online job platforms into its education systems to equip its adolescents for the evolving job market. Additionally, as we already seen, the digital space provides opportunities for everyone through the viral phenomenon, it allowing every individual to gain visibility and earn income from it. That's why digitalization can be everyone's tools to maximize their opportunity seeking for economic independence. Certainly, the idea of empowering children to leverage digitalization creatively comes with its own set of challenges. There is a fine line between empowerment and also exploitation, and the children's data in the digital space remains at risk of misuse. However, this doesn't mean it cannot be done. Child empowerment will remain within safe boundaries as long as their basic rights, including sufficient rest, education, and playtime, are ensured, and of course, the children itself can actively involve in decision making for themselves, allowing them to make informed choices based on the developmental capabilities of themselves. Here, TriFood is designed to foster economic independence through education and hands-on skill practice. Abandoned children will undergo interest and talent assessments before receiving the skill-based training tailored to their potentials. This program will conduct it with mentorship from volunteers and also the professional counselors who will monitor and analyze the project and the progress of themselves. Through this training, children will be encouraged to build self-confidence and be provided with financial aid for education and also skill certifications. Ultimately, they will be introduced to the real-world market dynamics where demand meets supplies in the job sector. All distinguished judges, we already know that learning without practical application to build habit will not meet the stage of unconscious competence as described by Abraham Maslow as the highest stage of learning process. Therefore, TriFood will also provide a platform for these children to showcase their skills through the TriFood apps. This application will also connect them to the partner companies that over market demand will turning these opportunities into economic prospects for every children. TriFood's work plan is structured into 5 phases that forming a sustainable cycle. Within 3 to 5 years of period, TriFood aims to educate and also train abandoned adolescents across 3 generations. This projected impact of this initiative is expected to be expanded to other regions in Indonesia that will contributing to the achievement of sustainable development goals, especially in the number of 10.2, and also aligning with the vision of the golden era of Indonesia in 2045. In the end, every child has the right to grow and develop safely, receive proper education, and also have the opportunity to create and contribute as they reach adulthood. By creating a supportive ecosystem, we are not only shaping their future, but also the future of our nation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Shanti 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 Om, and thank you.
Thank you, Felicia. So now we will hear comments from all the panelists. So who want to volunteer as the first? Okay, Dr. Choki, yeah, you may start.
Since most of the solutions are digitalizations or using a platform, so I probably repeat the questions from the previous questions. So thank you, Felicia, for your Felicia for your presentations. This is a really interesting topic. I've just realized that there are many children who were sent to what do you call it, welfare center, and it's really depressing. My questions will be how this TriFood compete with other apps that already exist right now, and what make this TriFood appealing for teenager, basically not children between 15 to 18 or 19, to actually download, and then what are the incentives for them to take the trainings trainings or workshops that provide in TriFood.
Okay, thank you so much, Bang, for the question. This program is initially initiated to be given to the adolescents, adolescents who live in the social welfare institutions. Based on research that I have been done, those children has the same bigger issue, which is the self incompetence. They feel like they are not competent, and it will get burden them long way to go if we are not tackle this issue. So basically, Trifhood will give for 50 specifically for 50 children in the 5 social welfare institutions in Jakarta. It will be given to the targeted children is in between 15 to 18 years old. How come I conclude that number of age will be the best target? Because of they are the group of people, of children that will get into the adulthood really soon. So before they are coming to be adult, Trifhood will provide the comprehensive support from education, skills training, and also the certification itself to give them the ability to know that they can compete in the market later. So how this program will compete with other apps, with other initiatives? Basically, I can find a specific apps that gives this opportunities like Trifhoods. Basically, another apps just give the opportunity that every users can meet the every users as the employee can meet the prospectful employers, but not in the specific criteria as a children. As we know, children are the groups that are limited to use the digital space, and therefore Trifhood will give the opportunity for them to at least get to know the workforce, working world, how they meet demand and supply and so on before they go to the adulthood. And I think this will still make it appeals because Trifhood is a comprehensive program. It's not just giving them the platform to meet a prospectful employer, but also give them the process of growth, the process of being learning, the learning process itself. So I think this program is still have the novelty itself besides another program.
Thank you. And how do you assess the current training programs run by the social welfare institutions?
Okay. As I mentioned and present earlier, Trifhood will be collaborated with 5 social welfare institutions that located in Jakarta. Why I specifically choose the number of 5? Because as the governmental of government regulation, there is only 4 units social welfare institutions that be created from the government. So due to the lack of its capability to fulfill the needs of their children, the children in there, I initiated from Trifhood to as I mentioned, to give support in various aspects that we think it's the needs of the children itself. Yeah.
Do they not get any supports in the social welfare institutions? Do they not get any training programs? If they get, and how's your assessment?
Okay. As I do the research, I don't say that they are not getting to be fulfilled their basic needs in the social welfare institutions. But the problem is the social welfare institutions has its limited capacities, and also the number of abandoned children every year is always have a great number itself. And from the research from that I have been done, the largest number of abandoned children located in an urban area, not a rural, due to the reasons that urban area will um, will give the certainty of their life if they have to leave the social welfare institutions after they being adult. But as I mentioned, not welfare institution nowadays not not be able to give them basic needs, but it's just not as much as they needs. They can't fulfill the full, at least the limited needs of them to get ready to go for working world.
And then to address that, you're proposing to have the digital platform that provides supports and trainings. And how do you assess how is their economic status? How's their demography in the social welfare institutions? Are they do they have smartphones or laptop to access it?
Okay. As I prepared in my paper, Trifid will also, Trifid will also allocate funds that are gathered to this project to give them the properties, the tools that they need to they need to do this program. Properties that I mentioned in such Wi-Fi and also digital tools like laptops or smartphones or anything else, and also books that they need to read for do this project. So basically, it just comes with the financial things.
Okay, so you're not only developing the tri-food, but also try to persuade and engage corporations to provide the hardwares for them to access tri-food. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So next I will give the floor to Buteo first, and then we move to Professor. Okay.
Hi Felicia, I want to follow up from Bang Choki questions, last questions about. So the company will also give the equipment for the others. My question is how. First is how you attract or makes the company wants to join this program.
Okay. So basically, how to engage the partner companies? Yeah. Companies and or enterprise partner, as I targeted to join this program, will have the responsibility to give social responsibility to public, as mentioned in our regulations. So basically, I will utilize that responsibility to be inserted in this program. I think the companies and or enterprises party itself will receive a good reputation by doing this social activity. Despite of it, the companies the social companies and or enterprise partners will probably also receive the convenience as in to select prospective workers and or partners from these educated and trained adolescents to be part of them to do the jobs as this program goal is to facilitate every abandoned children with the capabilities to do the work, the working world. So the companies and enterprise partner that are joining this program will also be selected as meeting the criteria of what the children needs, especially with the job criteria that can be fulfilled with only the education background of these children has, and also the type of they do the train and so on.
Is that the criteria, or can you elaborate more? What is the criteria for the company?
The criteria first is they are has the responsibility to do the social responsibility, and the second criteria, they has the scope of work that aligns with social that aligns with kids or children needs.
Can you give example of that?
Okay. The example of it, such as Dragon Group that has goal to give the empowerment for every youth, every young students to get to know in working world, and the business core is also relevant with the needs of every youth nowadays, like digital creating and or crafting and so on.
Okay, so we talk about to engage the company. Now, how the program will recruit the teenager itself?
How, I'm sorry?
To recruit the teenager.
Oh, to recruit the teenager. The teenager itself, I divided into groups. Teenagers in the social welfare institution and teenagers in the university. As I see it, teenagers in the social welfare institutions is the targeted people, but the teenagers or adolescents in the university is the targeted people to join this program as a volunteers, not the targeted people who get the benefit of train, who get the benefit from this program. As I written down in my paper, that the stakeholders are also taking part of academic institutions. It's people due to the you know their awareness, they want to be involved in the social activities. So I utilize this opportunity to meet them and create childhood.
So, can you tell me what is the background? How you come with this idea?
Okay. Basically, I just do a comparative paper from previous years. What our Abang have done, why they take these targeted people, and how they comes up with the solution itself, and and that's what I implement to myself. I see that in the urban society, there are a lot of challenges. Young people, as me and as my friends, also have the worrisome to get to the adulthood later. It's basically due to the workforce criteria that cannot be fulfilled easily. And beside of my uncertainty, I see that there is a group that also have these problems, but the difference between me and them is I am thankfully fulfilled with the opportunities with this education and so on, but they are not surely not to get that, and therefore I initiate this this program, as I see that many empowerment activities nowadays are just only one solution, not the sustainable solution, and they only give the targeted people like short-term benefit, not to ensure the long life of their lives. So Tripod is present to make every children, every youth, every adolescents at least have the same, not only real same, but boost their bottom line to get the same,
So they will have the same opportunity with the other children who can have a better education.
Yeah.
Okay, now can you go back to your? Oh, sorry. Now can you go back to your presentation? I just want to check the number of the abandoned children in Jakarta. I think it's the first one. You mentioned like 130. Is only 103 abandoned children, or
Abandoned children in the special region of Jakarta in 2024.
from the whole Jakarta?
As I do look up to the data from Badan Pusat Statistik, it's stated 103.
Okay. And that's from the from BPS, yeah.
BBS.
Because I'm trying to find the source in your paper, but I don't find it. But okay, well, the number is, it's really small for Jakarta, I think. But it's from the BPS, so I don't have any. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Felicia. I was quite worried about the existence of your app regarding the vulnerabilities of these children, yeah, because they are already vulnerable in the fact, yeah, but how can I know you have a good intention, but how can the trivia hood, yeah, can prevent the risk of digital exploitation? Please.
Yeah. I already concerned that thing as well, Prof, before. But as I see that many other countries have provided its children, its youths, to have a better access to digital, and as I see in this country, Indonesia's not really quote unquote given attention to what is accessible, how the youth be accessible to digitalization in a specific target as for preparedness, for working, and so on. I see that this the concern of data breach or the other criminal cases that will burden the children can be prevented by the support from traffic management team. As I written down in my paper, that traffic will build a community that consists of various specialties, background of education, that will assist every children in this program to do the program, to running the program. So to prevent every criminal cases, and by doing this program, Tripod will make a prevention, or maybe prevention to that some to happen.
Right. So I believe you have thought all of those prevention mechanisms, yeah, for the exploitation. Okay. In my understanding, yeah, I believe that the government have conducted a number of social welfare programs, yeah, for these teenagers or young adults. How can CBLhood can be a more beneficial or even a good complementing tools for the existing program?
Okay. As I do the research, the government is only give the support as from funds for these childrens and some empowerment activities, but not a specific comprehensive supports like Trifhood has. Trifhood will give every children in this targeted people to get the fund for education supports and to get the certifications of their skills later, and also the platform to them safely showcase their skills and safely search the targeted the market demand, like as I presented before. So like what government in Kenya has done, I think that Indonesia has to have the similar initiatives like the Ajira Digital. This Trifhood will give them to these children.
Okay. So your proposal will start in Jakarta?
Yeah, this program initiated to do the project. In Jakarta, starting in Jakarta.
So Jakarta is having enough or sufficient infrastructure, yeah, for your proposal to be happening. What happens if we go beyond that, beyond Jakarta?
Okay. I consider Jakarta is the first area to implement this program due to the fact that many abandoned children comes from rural area to Jakarta. Therefore, I see that the numerous number of these abandoned children are gathered in Jakarta. But as I mentioned earlier, this program, after a period of this program, ranging from 3 to 5 years of implementation, it will be considered to be implemented to the other region in Indonesia. I feasibly plan to the implementation to be held in the still in the rural area of like East Java or maybe Central Java that has a numerous children that has a numerous abandoned children in there.
Okay, my last question. If your program is implemented, how can you think about the sustainability?
Okay, the sustainability itself is depends on the collaborative support from everyone else. The children themselves, of course, the first party who will get the benefits, but the others parties that take part in this program will also get benefited, and we will maintain this this support will be asserted to the other period of childhood itself. We will make sure that everyone will get their benefits, and they will be happy to do this program. So that's basically how the funding. The funding of this program comes from CSR of the companies, and also fundings itself is not only merely materialistic things, but also immaterial, like a support from everyone else who wants to join this program.
That the non-material things, but everything comes in the end to the funding, right? Relying on the CSR, I don't think that's sustainable. So what do you reckon about that?
Yeah. So this program will make every children in there to meet the employer, right? So after they have like the certainty of how they will do work later, we will make them to get back to this program, to be bound to this program, to do this program later on. To the every year we will inaugurate it 3 generations of adulthood, 3 generations of abandoned children, and if one of them has been inaugurated, we will take them back to be the other volunteers of this program.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you, Prof. Ari. Thank you so much, Felicia, for your presentation. This is relating to employment issue as well. There comes the very big confusion of mine, and let's ask you for the first question of mine. Can you define and differentiate between child and teenagers?
Okay. Child and teenager is the same group. As I mentioned before, because due to the regulations in our country, especially in the regulations of child's protection and also social welfare, children is everyone who is under the age of 18. So teenagers is part of the children itself.
The range of age for teenagers?
The age of teenagers in our nation is not specifically mentioned, as we know that 18 will be the minimum age of someone to get to adulthood, or by another regulation will be say it is 21st and or 19 and so on. But as I conclude this, that teenagers is a part of children themselves, that they need to be that they belong to a vulnerable group and they need to be protected as a child.
Okay. The reason why I raised this issue is that you're inconsistent with the term children, and teenagers. I believe it's worth to define early on. But this is interesting that you compare your Thrivehood, your proposed app, with Ajira. Ajira is from Kenya, right? And this spirit of Ajira, as implemented in Kenya, is to to empower youth. There comes another terminology, not only child and teenagers, but also youth. Do you think that your definition of child with the range of age under 18, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, under 18, with youth. That is the specific target for the Ajira spirit. What do you think?
Okay. As I do the research, youth in Ajira Digital's targeted people is everyone's under 21st years old. Basically, they are a children's group and an early adolescence and an early adulthood itself. So, due to the lack of termination in our regulations that is only child and or adult, I decided to use adolescence itself in this paper. Adolescence stands for every child that is ranging from 15 to 18 in a specific program. But to what extent, adolescence is also means anyone that is under 21st years old. Why I conclude this statement? Because 21 is the full stage of someone to develop themselves as a youth, as a children to the adult. So basically, I will stand this what you say as inconsistency is a way to meet the what we have already in the terminology in the regulation itself, but the thing that I can pinpoint is children is a group that contains of youth and also adolescents.
Okay, since you mentioned the regulation, can you make it clear what regulation are you referring to?
I revert to the law of social welfare, especially in the general provisions of children itself, and also the law of data protection.
Is that all?
And the child protection.
Child protection. Okay, I think this is very much related to employment law as well, on the law number 13, year 2003. If you're not referring to that law, I'm just gonna point out one of the most concerning part of that law in the correlation to your idea, which is about the child violation, the child employment. And since you mentioned earlier about there is a thick difference between child empowerment and child employment. Can you just make it clear what's the difference? Because I'm so afraid that it will violate the employment law.
Okay. I will be addressed that I also look up to the law of employment to get to know what child exploitation itself. I do recognize that empowerment of children in specifically economic aspects will lead to exploitation unless we will, if we want to empower children to do the work ethics and so on, it will lead to exploitation if we don't look up to what the principle of best interest for the child. So as I present earlier, that child empowerment will be still in the safe area, not crossing the exploitation meaning of children. If we still ensure that the basic needs of every children is still fulfilled, from education, from their time to get socialized with others and so on. This empowerment is only wants to make them know the working world, to get to know it just for it. As only if they don't want to do that thing, we will not just pushing them to, getting income and make it profitable for everyone, but it's just to make them be known, to get to know the working dynamics of market.
Okay, that sounds a little bit of confusion, considering that you yourself haven't had the specific criteria of what child is or what teenager is. Now, I want you to take a look at the law number 13. Law number 13, year 2003. You just have to look at it later, but I'm just going to point out that there is one article in Article 68 that there is prohibition to the business owner to child employment. So, but there is any, but there is, there is, exclusion about children with the range of age between 13 and 15. So it can be employed, but you mentioned about the it couldn't undermine their rights to education. But if we're talking about children under the age of 12, the law restricts very clear that it couldn't be employed by a business owner. Do you have any comment on that?
Okay, thank you so much for the the specific ito. As I mentioned, this targeted people is adolescents who ranging from 15 to 18 years old. I see that this group of age is the one who is capable to utilize digital space, digital tools. And as you mentioned before, children who is under that age is basically just need the basic needs of them is basically to rest, to get education and so on. But how about the other age groups, which is 15 to 18? 18 is the minimum number that our regulation thinks is the latest criteria of age. The latest age of criteria of what we call as children. So I use termination of teenagers or adolescents to give the specific criteria for these targeted people, not to mix up the terminology, but to define specifically, as our regulations don't define that too. So I do agree that child labor is a thing, and our regulation in that in the law of employment, as said, that employer will have to give more attention to the children that is their employers, that are their employers. But as I mentioned, this targeted program is not for the age under 15, but it's for the 15 to 18 age years old. So that's the difference.
Okay, it would be a great idea for this program if you could define the targeted people, which is the teenagers or children with a range of age from 15 to 18. It would decrease people from thinking that this is something to do with child employment or child exploitation. Last but not least, I want to know, to make this applicable to a high range of children in Indonesia, what are your collaborators? Is it schools, government, or what?
Our collaborators ranging from NGOs and companies that has CSR, and also academic institutions.
Okay. Maybe just to point out the most important thing I think from your presentation, you mentioned about why did you want to why did you want to analyze on this issue is because you had once in this position, but you're lucky enough that you have a good quality of education, and it leads you here. And what differentiates you with them is that you have this education. Not, it's nothing to do with employment or collaboration with companies. I just want you to take a look at how important the education, because I'm afraid that this program could also somehow undermine the needs of education. You need to point out that education is still the most important thing for the children. You need to make sure that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the inputs. Can I make a clear statement? Yeah. I do agree with your statement before. As I mentioned, this program consists of a comprehensive supports for its children, ranging from to make sure that they have fulfilled the education needs, and besides that, we provide them with the skills training and also the platform for them to showcase their skills after they have the training. Thank you.
Okay. Is that all from you? So yeah. So that marks the end of your presentation. Thank you very much, Felicia. Please give a round of applause to Felicia. We wish you the best of luck for your Mapres. And yeah, we'll see you in the announcement for the winners. Okay. So it also marks the end of today's presentation. Thank you very much for all the panelists, and we will come back again tomorrow at 9 a.m. With another 5 contestants that will present in English. So thank you very much, Felicia. You
Thank
may
you so much,
leave
judges.
the room. Okay. And thank you also to all the panelists. See you tomorrow. Bye. Ada kalkulator berjalan, Bang.
Apa nih ngomong rendang-rendang baru jam 3 nih?